Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for me to bring you episode number 12 of our FIFA 16 Leicester City career mode. Now in today's episode it is time to make a transfer. The decision was left to you guys last episode. I was split. Should I buy Francois Camano or Benjamin Verbic? Two very promising young wingers, and you guys, I need a definitive answer, and you guys voted. And it was a draw. I kid you not. 27 votes to 27. It was a complete draw in the straw poll as to whether I need to sign Benjamin Verbic or Francois Camano. So I now need to explain the decision I made in that instant after seeing that it was a draw. Overall, I can imagine that people wouldn't mind too much, given it's a player that's not going to play too much, and also the fact that it was a draw. Clearly, you guys would have liked me to sign either of them. But I went with Francois Camano basically because I actually decided that I'd need a player that would come off the bench who would offer pace. Late on in a game when the opposition are chucking players forward, I need someone with a bit of pace who can start up some counter-attacks. Benjamin Verbic is a fantastic all-round winger. However, if I needed him to come off the bench, he's not going to offer me too much right at the end of a game, whereas Francois Camano might be able to offer me something different to the wingers that I have looking forward. Obviously, we have Nathan Dyer at the moment. However, Nathan Dyer will be going back from his loan at the end of this season. So going into Season 2, he may offer something a little bit more. So in the end, we have signed Francois Camano from Bastia for £450,000 plus Mark Albrighton, making him our first transfer of this transfer window. So thank you guys so much for voting. In the end, it was still very difficult to choose, but thank you nonetheless for voting. In the background, you'll have seen a few of the players that have gone up in the last month. Bruno Perez, Jeffrey Schlupp and Gökhan Inler, as well as N'Golo Kante, are the main players that went up at the start of January, just to sort of clarify a few things. But now getting into some on-field action, it's time for the first game of today's episode. Francois Camano making it onto the bench for what would probably be his first game of his Leicester career. And as you can see, we are playing Everton in the Capital One Cup. This is actually the first leg of the semi-final against Everton in the Capital One Cup after we beat Cardiff 4-1 in the quarter-final. We have a tough draw against Everton. As you can see, they've got a free kick there on the right-hand side on the 21st minute. Gerard Deulofeu puts it into the box, and it falls for Aruna Kone, who rifles it into the back of the net, the man who scored the most goals in this competition so far. Robert Huth does not pick him up. We need to talk about centre-backs a little bit later on, actually. But Robert Huth letting me down there with his marking, and he's letting me down again because Aruna Kone has managed to turn him easily, and he's played it to James McCarthy, who has blasted it past Kasper Schmeichel. And in a split second, we are 2-0 down to Everton. They've only had 2 shots on goal, and they've scored both of them. So Kasper Schmeichel hasn't made a save. Didn't really have much of a chance with either of them, in all honesty. But it's time to make a change at half-time. And Andre Kramaric, who started the game with Mbolo up front, not really cutting it in this particular game. So Jamie Vardy's coming on. Hasn't had the desired effect going into the second half so far, as Kasper Schmeichel's called into action there from Kevin Morales' shot. But we're going forward in the 56th minute. Mbolo not quite connecting properly with that volley into the box. And as you can see, Dele Alli now picking up the ball. It's a good save from Tim Howard, but it'll fall to Mbolo, who passes it back to Jamie Vardy, the substitute. And Jamie Vardy scores, and he's got the instant impact. In the 59th minute, we were coming back into the game, really starting to edge our way back into this tie, and we have done so now on the hour mark, and it is Jamie Vardy, the substitute, who has got us back within a goal. And as you can see, Vardy's having another shot there, and again a good save from Tim Howard just 5 minutes later. As you can see there, the throw-in though from Bruno Perez, it's not the player that I wanted it to go to, and it's led to a goal, and Everton have restored their 2-goal lead. Unfortunately, the throw-in sort of system on this game is fundamentally flawed in the case it doesn't actually give it to the player you aim at. So Bruno Perez just chucked it out. A mistake, unfortunately. And talking about mistakes, Jamie Vardy has picked the ball off Leighton Baines with just 9 minutes to go. This is a crucial goal from Jamie Vardy. He scored his second goal of the game. An absolutely inspired substitution to bring the pacey English striker on. And he scored 2 goals, and that is a vital one, because if we go into the second leg at the King Power Stadium 2 goals behind, we have got a serious uphill task in trying to pull this one back in the second leg. The first leg, however, is over, and we've lost 3-2, but away from home, that is not the worst of results. It could have been a lot worse, during the course of that game. 2-goal sort of deficit would have been disastrous going into the second leg, but we are still at least in the tie despite losing that first leg, mainly thanks to Jamie Vardy. As you can see, though, moving back into some transfer stuff, you'll see the second leg of that League Cup tie in the next episode after we've seen an FA Cup tie at the end of this episode. We're learning out 2 young players. I think it was Brandon Fox and Jack Barmby going out to Doncaster and Exeter respectively, but now here's some crucial stuff. You guys voted that I need to get a new centre-back. You'll see the straw poll either now or in a minute. So I'm going to ask for some more funds from the board. We've already got to the semi-final of the Cup. We've reached that sort of stage already. You've just seen the first leg of it. So that's a sort of cheaty way of getting a bit more money off the board, because they only expect us to get to the round of 16. And we're also saying we can get to the Europa League, which puts a little bit more pressure on us. But given we're in the top 4, that should be manageable. And as you can see, we asked for £10 million and the board have granted that to us fully. So that's 10 million quid we can now stick towards a new centre-back. And we are going in with one of you guys' suggestions, and it's Joel Matip. Now, we made a £2.3 million bid initially. That then rose to 4.6 million because they rejected the initial. The reason why I made such a low offer was because his contract was expiring. So we could have actually got him on a pre-contract agreement, but I'm already planning to buy a player on a pre-contract agreement. And I didn't want to sign 2. I want a centre-back for now to actually replace Robert Huth. So I just decided to make a fairly cheap bid for Joel Matip because his contract is expiring, even, if I can actually get my words out. 8 million quid sort of bid as well for Joel Veltman of Ajax. We had a £3 million bid for Jordi Amat and a £6 million bid for Kevin Wimmer. Now, out of those 4, which one would you like me to buy? That is going to be the straw poll that you'll see, or the first of 2 in the description. So out of Kevin Wimmer, Jordi Amat, Joel Veltman and Joel Matip, which of those centre-backs would you like me to buy to replace Robert Huth? Not entirely sure if I'm going to sell him in this transfer window for now. That's why I asked for £10 million, because I want to keep him. I understand a lot of you are Leicester City fans, so you want me to try and keep as many Leicester players as I can. So I will try and keep Robert Huth. If I have to sell him, I may have to, but I'm going to make sure I don't have to. I'm going to try and make sure I don't have to. As you can see, we're also making a pre-contract agreement bid for Nicholas Nkolu, who I am really set on signing. But, as I said, the straw poll in the description below will be which other centre-back do you want me to buy? Matip, Veltman, Jordi Amat or Kevin Wimmer, and I would also try and get Nicholas Nkolu on a pre-contract agreement so he'll arrive in the summer. But now getting on to the second game of today's episode, and as you can see we are playing Cardiff again, this time in the FA Cup. I think it's the 4th round of the FA Cup, a very, very sort of improvised squad, because we've actually got the second leg of the Everton game just 2 days after this one. So Liam Moore comes into the side, whereas Morgan Francois Camano gets his full debut. But as you can see, the first action of the game would be us winning a penalty. And it's Andre Kramaric fouled there by Bruno Aquile and Manga, and he is actually going to step up and take the penalty himself to try and give our young side a lead. As you can see, the goalkeeper goes the right way, but Andre Kramaric does score and give us a 1-0 lead here on the 10-minute mark in this FA Cup 4th round tie against Cardiff, and we are 1-0 up. As you can see, we're going forward again here. It's sort of breaking there actually for Francois Camano, and nods it down for Andre Kramaric, and it's a great save from Marshall to deny Kramaric his second goal of the game. But as you can see, Dele Alli going forward here, who's partnered with Drinkwater as a defensive mid, but Ali setting it forward there for Andre Kramaric, who does get his second goal of the game. He is not denied by Marshall in goal this time, and he makes it 2-0 there with a lovely, calm, composed finesse finish past the Cardiff City goalkeeper. And as you can see, we are 2-0 up moving into the second half, and Dele Alli there receiving the ball of Nathan Dyer. He slips with a shot there, and he actually slipped as he was taking the shot, but managed to hit the post from outside the area. Fantastic stuff there from Dele Alli. As you can see, the Cardiff goalkeeper has punched the ball out to Jeffrey Schlupp, but there's a man down actually in the area, and unfortunately, it's Liam Moore, the man who's back from his loan now, but seemed like a very good pacey centre-back. A few of you guys actually asked me to play him in this episode, but unfortunately he's injured. We'll have to see the extent of that at the end of this game. But as you can see, Jeffrey Schlupp going down the left-hand side and putting the ball into the box for Kramaric, who forces a fantastic save there from the goalkeeper. We're making a few more substitutions there. That was Simonas Stankavicius, who was coming on for Briel Donald and Bolo there. Stankavicius, who's a very young striker in our squad. He was out on loan. As you can see, though, Francois Camano's put the ball in the back of the net on his debut, but unfortunately he is offside. A very bright spark though in this game. I'm looking forward to using Camano in future. As you can see there, David Marshall getting the ball, and he's been tackled there by Simonas Stankavicius, who will set himself up and make it 3-0. And that's another 59 overall youngster from the Leicester Academy who scores. Simonas Stankovičius, who I think is from Lithuania, has come off the bench here for Brill Donald Embolo. He's tackled David Marshall. It's an awful mistake from the goalkeeper after the pass back from Ben Turner. And it is now 3-0. Stankovičius getting himself on the score sheet along with a brace from Andre Kramich. Tom Lawrence, another youngster who came off the bench, is now running forward late on. And he passes it across the Dele Alli, but it's a pretty poor strike in the end. Lawrence should have really got an assist there for his hard work, but not the greatest of strikes in the end from Dele Alli. As you can see though, we have won the game 3-0 thanks to a brace from Andre Kramich giving him man of the match, and also a goal from our Lithuanian, I do believe, youngster Simonas Stankovičius off the bench. Well done to Stankovičius, getting his first goal of this career mode, following in the footsteps of Hamza Chowdhury, the legend of a few episodes ago. But nevertheless, it is time to now move on from the game and moving into training. There was only 1 week of training, or one instalment of training in this episode, because this episode only covered a week in real game time, if you like, because all these cup games have been there's a lot of fixture congestion at the moment, therefore we've only got 1 real training session. But in the description, the second straw poll that you will see will be asking you about what player you would like me to train in the next episode. So whichever young player you would like me to train, just tick their name and vote for them. So that will be the second straw poll in the description, as well as what centre back you would like me to buy. And moving on to centre backs, here we can see Jordi Amat. That bid that we made for Jordi Amat was accepted, as well as the Kevin Wimmer bid, and we've made a £30,000 contract offer for £30,000 a week contract offer for Jordi Amat, and a £60,000 a week offer for Kevin Wimmer. We haven't really heard back from Joel Matip and Joel Veltman, but if you do go on to vote for them and I can't buy them for some reason, I will try and buy the second most voted for centre back. So if that, just in case that does happen, but Veltman, Matip, as well as Amat and Wimmer will be in that vote. As you can see, Liam Moore will be out for 4 weeks with a sprained ankle, so not too bad, but a little bit frustrating, unfortunately, because he looks like a pretty decent centre-back after coming back from his loan. No table in this episode because we haven't played any Premier League games, so if you haven't seen the table, go back and watch the last episode. The playlist link will be in the description, so if you haven't seen that already, go and check it out, and that will show you the table, because there's not really going to be any difference in this episode. But nevertheless, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. Feel free to smash the likes button if you did. 75 likes as always on one of these episodes would be massively appreciated, and subscribe if you are new around here as well as commenting about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much, and don't forget to vote on the straw polls in the description. But nevertheless, it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.